Boom, boom, boom. Wow, live, man. Live. Let me go get my AirPods. Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gents. We're waiting. We got a live going up in about a couple minutes. Let me see if I can go to a live. GeeClippers. How's everybody doing today? What's the point of being? Gotta wait for some more people to pour in. How you guys doing? Let me see. 5G's Clipper. Ooh. How's everyone doing today? My name is Terrell Leonard. I'll give you guys a little more of an introduction, formal introduction, once we get some more people in here. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Today we'll be having a live. Good. How are you feeling, Tyrus? I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling all right. It's a good little Wednesday I have. How about you? Yeah, today we're having a live about mental health with our special guests. See if they will come. No problem. No problem. Hope it's sent out notifications. Did everyone in here got a notification that the live was here? Did y'all get a notification? Or was y'all just on Instagram just scrolling and you saw us go live? Sitting here waiting. Share to. Make sure you guys share this live. Send it to all your followers so we get the most people in here. How you guys doing? Can everyone hear me? Does everybody hear me? How do I sound? Do I sound good? Do I sound good? And did y'all also get notifications that this live was going on? I think a couple answers. Make sure I got everything is coming out right. I need to know. Can y'all hear me? I'm gonna ask this a question. Can y'all hear me? And is everything sounding good and okay? Ooh, 2 minutes. Can everybody hear me? How do I sound? And did y'all get a notification? Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. See if I can get our guest in here. Place to. Send it to him again. Hello. How does my sound? How does the audio sound good? And did y'all get notifications? Let's see. And how y'all doing today? How y'all feeling? Today's been a okay day today with me. How's y'all Wednesday going? I'm excited too. I'm very excited too. Okay, great, great. Notifications sound good. Our audios, everybody's excited. I'm a little bit on edge too. I'm ready to get this started. I'm excited. If y'all had to rate y'all days from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how would y'all rate it? I think for me, it's a smooth 8. It's an 8. Things are going pretty smooth. How about y'all? Why they can't join? Let me try it again. GeeClippers. 9. Okay. 9. Oh, y'all had some amazing days. Y'all had some great days. Okay. Okay. I feel it. I feel it. Hold on, I'm gonna try to get our guest in here. I think he's trying to enter right now. Is he in here? Sure. Mm, mm, watching. Our guest should be on his way in here shortly. Keep saying thanks. It's, it's a amazing shirt. I love the shirt actually too. It has a nice fit to it. Um, it was not allowing him to join. How about let me see this. Hop into try questing. Let's see. Just a fan. I'm trying to let's see. Try to get him in here again. How's everyone doing? We got some new people coming in. How you doing? Uh, I think I hear. I think I hear him.
Is that me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you, but I can't see you yet.
You can't see me. Let me see. Send requested. Hold on. Can you see me now?
I can't see you yet. Can y'all see him? I can't see. Let me see.
This is my first time. This is my first time doing this, bro.
Oh, it's all right.
Hold
It's all
on.
right.
Let me see. Send a request to be in the live video. It says requested. So
Okay. Well, I just heard him, and now I just went out. Let me see. Let me see. Jeez, Clipper. Let me try it one more time. You should just be able to join. You should just be able to join. Yeah, okay. You guys can hear it. Could y'all see him? Could y'all see him? Here we go. Here
okay.
we go. How you doing today?
I'm great, man. How about yourself?
I'm
My
doing
my
swell.
my apologies for the technical difficulties.
You're fine, you're fine. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to IG Live to Inspire. I'm Terrell Leonard, social media and community coordinator of WeINSPIRE through the internship program. And I'm currently a student at Coastal Carolina University, and that is located in Conway, South Carolina. This evening, I'm happy to have with us is Gaulien Smith, also known as GeeClippers from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So today on IG Live, we're going to be talking about mental health, men's mental health. But before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is GeeClippers?
Well, my name is G. My name on
Okay,
barbershop is GeeClippers.
okay,
I do want to say excellent pronunciation on my real name. My real name is Gaulien Smith. Most people know me as G. I've opened GeeClippers Barbershop Beauty Salon 26 years ago, June 1st.
wow,
So yeah, I'm coming up on 27 years. I opened when I was 24 years old, and I started with just 3 barbers, and today I have the largest barbershop in the Midwest
wow.
at 30 barbers in 8,000 square feet. I'm the only barbershop, one of the only barbershops in the country with a full health clinic in the barbershop. Um, I'm the only barbershop in the country that's chartered that partnered with a NBA team. I got various community partners, businesses that's community partners with my barbershop. I'm basically doing things that's never been heard of in the barbering industry, and it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride. GeeClippers have been cutting celebrities' hair for over at least 23 years. We've cut hundreds of NBA ball players, football players, NFL players, professional baseball players, singers, comedians. I mean, it's definitely been a fun ride over these past 26 years.
Okay, cool. So, what made you, well, from doing my research on you, I see that you're very active in your community.
Yes.
So, what made you switch from solely being a barber to being more active in your community around you?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I just feel like the barbershop is a byproduct, or basically the vehicle, I should say, for me doing the work in the community that I've been blessed to do. And I say blessed to do because I believe that that's what barbershops really were back in the days. You know, let's say in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. I believe the barbershops were the heartbeat of the community, where good news was shared, where politicians can come and speak to their constituents, where the barber was the doctor, if you will. Um, I mean, basically, I'm just taking it back, full circle. I'm taking it back to the roots of where barbershops came from, where the responsibilities were um, put on the barbershops. I mean, and I'm just basically answering my call, man. Just doing
Mm.
my part.
Okay. So, as you were getting more into the community side of things while being a barber, as you were saying, what are some things that you didn't expect going into the community that was kind of a shocker to you after being more involved in it?
Well, I didn't think that I would have to be as involved in politics as I ended up being. I mean, that was something I kind of shied away from earlier on because of my notoriety. I know so many individuals, you know, and it was always tough when you got two or three people you know personally that's running for the same seat in
Mm,
office. Now you gotta, you know, you feel like you gotta be a part of it, and then having each, you know, picking a side and sticking with that side, and you know, you have individuals that want to put their campaign literature in the barbershop or posters and things of that nature. I just didn't like that aspect of it. But it's a necessary evil, for lack of a better term. And I just had to, you know, toughen up, man, and deal with it. I didn't too much like dealing with the whole politics, man. But it's necessary. That's how we get things done. That's how this world keeps moving, man. You know, you need politics. You need it.
mm. Well, so like, how would you describe the community now after you've been in it for a couple years and working around in it?
Well, I've been in it, you know, I wouldn't say a couple at this point. At this point, out of the 26 years I've been open, at least 15 of those years I've been in golf.
Wow.
I've been engulfed in the community. In
Okay.
terms I mean, I'm very familiar with almost every political position in Wisconsin politics, from the governor, you know, to the mayor, to the, you know, councilmen and women. So I mean, it's definitely has has gotten easier to navigate, you know, things to get things done. It get kind of easier when you kind of see what makes what makes the city, what makes the community move and
Hmm.
thrive. But yeah, I mean, I would like to think that it's definitely gotten a lot better in a lot of ways in terms of GeeClippers being able to reach so many people and be a positive light in this sometimes dark world, you know. So
Hmm.
it's been a blessing, man, to be a part of the community being a better place, you know.
Okay. Yeah. And you, as you were talking, you talked about how the community has gotten better. Was it in a worse predicament past couple of years? And have you seen it grown into what it is today?
I mean, you know, it's gotten better in some ways. In some ways, is definitely gotten worse. I think what you see right now in the city of Milwaukee, in my opinion, and when I say what you see now is our crime rate has gotten higher. A lot of gunshots, victims has definitely risen. I think a lot of that has to do with, and I think it's the same in a lot of your urban communities across the country. I think that has lot to do with COVID last year. You know, being in the house, you know,
Hmm.
for so long. You know, the kids not being in school. A lot of your community organizations, you know, that has been geared towards helping troubled youth. Those organizations were closed down. You know, and the youth were just basically, you know. Getting information from each other, getting information from online, you know, just basically out of the loop socially, you know. And now here we are right now dealing with the results or the ramifications of lack of community involvement from your organizations that was geared towards helping youth, and just the kids not being social in school, you know. But all in all, I do feel that Milwaukee has gotten better in terms of individuals being able to have a platform to speak
Mm.
and be heard, and being able to help families in need, food wise, during the Christmas season, toy wise. We, you know, free haircuts. We've been doing so much, man. We've been definitely busy at GeeClippers, and I would like to think, you know, we've definitely been the reason why so many other barbershops and beauty salons have gotten on board to doing more in the community.
Okay, okay. And as you're talking about speaking from the experience of like people needing a platform, was this the concept or the thought process behind Real Men, Real Talk?
Without a
Or
doubt.
what, or okay, like can you tell us some more about that platform and what you did to those men?
Yes. What you're speaking of, Real Men Real Talk, is a once a month event that myself, along with the city of Milwaukee, along with Milwaukee Fathered Initiative, Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Those are my partners that's doing this. And a really good friend of mine, Kwabena Antone Nixon, is the moderator and host of the event. It basically is a platform for men only. Is on a Monday, one Monday a month. It starts at 5:30. Typically ends at like 7:30 in the evening, but it goes until 8 o'clock, 8:30 all the time. Well, basically, it's a platform where individuals can. Well, let me just describe how the room looks. The room looks like we have a stage set up there, and we have 4 individuals on the stage, and we have a male representation of each age group. You know, a teenager to 20s, and then we have a 30-some-year-old, 40, 50-some-year-old, and then our OG, if you will, as in 60s or 70s, or even has been 80s, are there. And we have questions that was given by the audience earlier on when the event first starts. And Kwabena has an exercise that he do to just make everybody feel very comfortable. You know, let them know there's a safe space. No video recording at that point. And we have open dialogue, man. We give guys an opportunity to speak things that's been on their mind. You know, it's unbelievable the amount of guys that have been thought about committing suicide. You know, guys that just feel like they have not been, you know, the father that they feel that they should have been. And it's true. There's so many guys that have been a part of birthing a child, you know, bringing a child in this world, but just have not ever known how to be or gotten the tutelage or the blueprint, if you will, to be a father. And with Real Men Real Talk, man, is that platform, you know, to get, you know, those tough questions answered, you know, to get that help, you know, that so many brothers need, man. So Real Men Real Talk has definitely, you know, picked up a lot of steam over the years. It was really tough that we couldn't do it last year during the heat of COVID, you know, but we picked it back up now, man, and we have an unbelievable group of guys that come every single month to support it.
Okay, all right. So, given that, have you found after creating this platform for men, has it been easier for them to open up, or why is it so hard for them to open up?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, I'm sure you could attest to it. It's hard for men to open up, you know, because they're expected to be men.
Yeah.
You're expected to feel weakness. And when you feel, you know, that you don't know something, and you at a certain age, and the masses feel like you should have known, or you feel like the masses is thinking that you should know it, you just don't act it. You know, you just try to tough it out, and you figure you'll find your way through, you know. But Real Men Real Talk allows individuals to open up and be themselves. When I tell you, the host Kwabena Antone Nixon, man, when I tell you the brother does an amazing job at getting the guys involved, you know, letting the guys know, listen, brothers, this is a safe space, you know, and we understand. He do a great exercise, man, in the beginning. And I thought it was just so cool, just so dope in the beginning, where, you know, you have guys raise their hand to each question if it applies to them, you know. Because, you know, when you first start, how many of you in here have ever saw a woman, you know, be abused? All right, put your hand down. How many of you have the woman being abused was your mom? All right, put your hand down. How many of you have had to defend your mom from being abused? All right, put your hand down. How many of you have ever, and these guys are answering this, you know, with, you know, just, you know, with total conviction, man, just total honesty, you know. And then he says, you know, how many of you have didn't grow up with your father in the house? How many of you don't know who your father is? You know, so after this long exercise of questions he asked, how many of you ever, you know, then he say, you know, how many of you ever felt that you was dealing with some mental illness, you know? You know, and that's, you know, you stayed in the bed, you know, later than you know, you thought you should be. You knew you had things you had to take care of, but you just, you know, didn't have the, you know, the strength to get up. You didn't want to get up. How many of you guys thought of, you know, maybe thought of taking your own life? It's just unbelievable amount of guys. And then he said, so if you guys looked around and you saw every single person here raise their hand for one, two, or three, or all the questions. So listen, you're not out here by yourself. You know, we all have hang-ups in our life. We all have had challenges. We all, you know, have a lot of baggage. You know, so we're here to help one another. So I mean, it's that right there. When I tell you, Real Men Real Talk has really been a major help, I believe, to so many men.
Wow, that's deep. I have a statistic for you. Did you know that only 9% of men are diagnosed with daily depression, but 78% of suicides are men? So
Yeah,
why do you think the diagnosis rate is so low, but the suicide rate for men is so high?
they're not asking for help. They're not asking for help. They're looking at themselves as being, oh, hey, I'm a man. You know, I'd rather
Mm,
take my own life before I look like a punk out here, or before I,
yeah,
admit that, these issues that I'm having. I mean, and that's why you need more platforms like a Real Man Real Talk, because it allows, these guys to basically release these things that's been burdening them. So I mean, and it takes your barber, or individuals that you might go to on a regular basis that that you're in their personal space, or vice versa. It takes that barber opening up to this, to these guys, making themselves more like a sounding board, if you will. So it's sad, it's unfortunate, and actually, I believe that mental illness is the number one most undiagnosed um, condition in the urban community, in the world,
mm,
period. I feel just so many people that, sweep it under the rug, and, the embarrassment of wanting to go get help, or just admitting that, they're having these issues.
yeah. So like, I think while you saying that, and I like how you said that in your space that you create, it's been from different generations, not just one age group or giving out advice to another age group. It's just everyone giving out advice to each other. And I just believe that, or do you think that this should be educated more in school or just to the youth period about dealing with mental illness?
Definitely in school. Definitely in school. I say in schools because in the whole, social media world, man, I mean, the bullying is done going to a whole nother level, when it comes to uh, social media, man. It's just so easily accessible for kids to, really come down on other kids for whatever reason, um, ribbing on them, talking about, whatever, you
Yeah,
know, call it. But I think right now it's definitely the schools, the teachers' responsibility, the counselors' responsibility to make sure that the kids have that platform, or that ear, if you will, to talk to a grown up about what they're going through, what they're feeling, what's bothering them, their thoughts of possible suicide, because suicide rate is high amongst youth as well.
yeah, yeah. How do you think that would look in school? Like, what advice would you give to, I would say, youth and young adults about dealing with these illness? Because in that age range, it's always changing your life. They always walk into a new chapter. So last year might not look the same as the new year. So what would you tell them to keep them in high hopes and great mental health?
Well, I think, I mean, in terms of what the schools address your first question, what I feel like, advice I can give a school um, is the same thing that GeeClippers do in the barbershop once a month. Once a month, it should be
Hmm.
platforms, man, after school, for youth that might, or, you know what, just so a kid won't be singled out, I probably wouldn't even do it after school. I would probably have a platform that's mandatory for
Yeah,
you to have to take during the school day, for 30 minutes once a month, hour once a month. I mean, I think it's needed, just like I feel it's needed to have a career planning, course in schools. That's mandatory. 'Cause I mean, every school is not mandatory to have a career planning course. It's still so many of our youth is graduating high school without knowing what the heck they're going to do with their life. Here they are in the junior and senior in high school without no real direction. So
Okay.
same way
So
about it.
yeah, okay, I understand that. So what would you tell, I would say, what would you tell a young African American male, I'll say a young adult, 18 to 25, what would you tell them about opening up about their mental illness to others? Because as you say, as men or even black men, we just think that I can handle it. It's whatever. I'm brushing it off. It's cool. I'm fine. But inside, it's really eating you up and eating you alive. So what would you tell them to open it up or how to find help?
Well, first of all, I mean, and adults. I wouldn't. I don't know if I would tell a kid to tell their friend, their peer, because their peer, I don't know, their peer might not. They might think that that peer is their friend. Then that peer
Hmm.
go out and tell another friend that that has no filter at all and might get on social media talk about this kid and make the whole situation worse. So I
Yeah.
would definitely advise that youth to talk to a teacher. 'Cause sometimes they can't even trust their individuals at home whom they live with right there under the roof.
Mm.
So I think a teacher is always the best source to tell a kid to talk to if they're
All right.
dealing
What
with a
about
mental illness.
what about from, let's say you're in college or young adult, like you're just getting into the adulthood life? What would you tell them?
I think the same thing. Probably counselor maybe. Um,
Mm.
to the counselor because same thing. They might not have an individual under their roof that will take them serious. So they might brush off like, oh, it's just your first year of college. Every kid go through this issue. But it might be something that kid been dealing with all through high school as well and middle school as well. But it's just now they're in college and now they're away from home. And it's getting even rougher for them. So
Mm.
I would like to think that the counselor, at their college would be a great source of communication.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you tell some individuals, for me personally, when I was depressed at one point, I didn't even know I was depressed. So, and I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know what it was until a couple months afterwards. I was like, "Oh, I was depressed back then." So, what are some ways that you can spot depression in yourself?
Well, I just like I stated earlier, I think if you pay attention to your habits and things of that nature,
Mm,
staying in the bed well after you knew that you should have been getting out of the bed and going to school or going to work, you just laying there, you're thinking thoughts, without me being a therapist, and this is just me speaking
mm,
from a barber standpoint and from just a man, 50-year old man. Um, I think that you think hopeless. You think that this is about the best that you're gonna get in your life. You can't see, or you're always paying attention to, the worst in you instead of the good in you. It's just the negative energy that your mind just keeps feeding you, if you will. Um, yeah, you just always just want to just be alone. You don't want to be around people. Um, yeah, and just negating your responsibilities. Not taking care of things you should be taking care of. You thinking that they're going to just disappear. Um, it's just so many telltale signs from what I've heard, and I'm just from what I've heard, and I'm just basically regurgitating what I've heard individuals
mm.
in, over these past years. That in turn end up finding out that they were indeed suffering from depression.
What What are some healthy ways to, or what do you usually do if you're feeling a little bit down in slumps to help cope with it or get better?
Man, read motivational books, self-help books. Go to church.
Hmm.
Um, exercise, Exercise always do good. I mean, exercise is that one, cardio, I should say, is that exercise. Long-term cardio
Okay.
is that thing that you can do that's been proven to kill negative enzymes that's associated with stress. And we know with abundance of stress that can definitely bring about, depression. And someone says, pray. But the thing is, yeah, pray is definitely, and meditation as well. But there's not so many individuals that really know how to pray. They don't really know how to.
True.
They might not even have the spiritual background and roots that maybe us that have been, raised in church have. We know how to call on Jesus. We know how to call on God. We know how to meditate. But I mean, so it's easy to say that, but I think the things that I think most people can really gravitate to right away is exercise and talk to individuals that they respect. Just talking. Find somebody you trust to really give your deepest thoughts to, or that's what it takes, getting that off of you, and just see what they give you back in return. If it's just not, it could just be an ear, it could just be there, to listen to you, but talking, releasing it, man, does so much, so much.
So why do you think people, instead of talking about it, they decide to hide it and they put a smile on their face and they just go with the day, but inside they're just hurting?
It's the same way that kid don't want to raise their hand to ask a question because they don't want to be looked at as the stupid kid. They don't want to be looked at as the kid that didn't know this or didn't know that. But not knowing it's some but 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 other kids in that room that has questions about the same exact thing that person is not raising their hand for. So it's the same thing, man. I just think it's just that individuals are just not seeking the help, man, because they don't want people to know that they have this, that they're not normal, if you will, whatever normal is, or
Yeah.
struggling with this or that. They don't want it to be known or said,
Yeah, like I wonder why there's such a stigmatism on being depressed when majority everyone has been in that spot once upon a time in their life. Why do you think that?
Wait, say it again. I'm sorry.
Why do you think there's a stigmatism about depression and people look at it like and I don't and they just look at it like it's bad, like, oh, you're depressed, like they've never been depressed before.
I mean, is anything that's looked at as a sign of weakness, which depression, sometimes could be categorized as a sign of weakness in so many people's eyes. Whenever, I think when things are, and it's just my opinion, whenever things are looked at as a something that the masses don't have, let's say
Mm.
AIDS, for instance, the masses don't have AIDS, but AIDS is there. But a pharmacist once told me that nowadays, with where technology is, individuals that he would rather have HIV now than type 1 diabetes. And I'm like,
Wow.
huh? He said, well,
Yeah.
gee, with the and I don't know if I agree with this still. He said, with the medications out now, most people body can handle the 1 pill a day for HIV. So
Hmm.
they can live a regular life. They was going to live to 90 years old. They'll still live to 90 years old. He said the 1 pill a day basically strengthens your immune system, you know, uh, uh, or whatnot. He said, but type 1 diabetes, you have to forever. Your pancreas does not produce insulin whatsoever. You're getting
Oh.
shots every day. Insulin. You're checking your levels, and you still got to exercise, and you still should eat right. But still, people would never ever say, "I would rather have HIV than type 1 diabetes," because of what HIV, the stigmatism, that's on AIDS and HIV. Same thing with depression, I feel, because the masses don't have it, or the masses is looked at as you weak, or, you crazy. Um, people tend to not divulge that information because they don't want to be looked at or stared at, in a particular way.
Okay, yeah. And do you think that this is maybe a little bit off topic, but do you think that is the same reason why men don't bring up their feelings or their depressed states in relationships?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely not in relationships. They
Yeah.
definitely don't do it in relationships. I mean, yeah, they would tell anybody else except the woman that they feeling. The woman they got a liking for, because they'll be afraid that she ain't gonna deal with them no more.
Yeah.
That she'll look at them as as being weak. It's even that much more a no. I feel that so many people look at it that way. But me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, but I'm a little different. I've been around for a while. I mean, I've been 20 years old before. I've been 23 before. So I know what it's like to be that person. And I'm 50 now. So with that being said, I know that as you get help, at a younger age, you talk to individuals at a younger age, you will, by the time you get 50 years old, you will have figured it out, hopefully. If you did the necessary things that whomever is helping you. And now it's so many resources out here with mental health, it's unbelievable, because of all of the individuals that's died at the hands of police. It's been a common thread that a lot of them, not all, a lot of them have had psychological issues, and a lot of our police departments across the country are just not trained, to deal with mental illness, and so with that being said, you got a lot of now government dollars and community organizations that are now helping individuals with ills, community ills, illnesses, and I see it definitely in Milwaukee. You even have the Black psychotherapist organization
Wow.
that's giving free um, uh, help to individuals that are dealing with mental health issues, and even GeeClippers through the barbershop. That's a component that we deal with through our the health clinic there at GeeClippers, MKE G's MKE Wellness Clinic, and you'll see I posted some at the last second before I got on. I kind of posted just so individuals that logged on, if they hadn't seen the barbershop before. These are pictures I gathered from, that I posted like maybe a year or two ago. I have not posted pictures of the barbershop in some time in its empty state. So I got them in my story now so individuals can see, they can see the clinic. And the clinic is open Fridays and Saturdays for those that might want to get more information on the health clinic at GeeClippers. It's open Fridays and Saturdays now. It was open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays prior to COVID. But in that health clinic is basically where you can get everything you can get at any other doctor's office, with the exception of X-rays and things of that nature. But do blood work there. You get your glucose level checked. Blood sugar level, HIV check, STI, STD checks and treatments. We direct you to. We got so many partners, that will help in so many different areas of your life. Um, Definitely been great though.
Okay, okay. So back to when you were talking about how men don't want to open up to their partner. How can, let's say it's a woman, how can their woman help their man or with their depression if he does decide to open up, or even if
That's
he doesn't decide it?
a good question. I think that that woman should, if she really care about that guy, whether she cares about him in terms of wanting to date him or not, or going through a date him or not, at least feel enough for him to direct him, to get help, or even seek help for him, you know, because for the most part, a lot of these guys just won't. go out there in public, and talk to individuals about, their shortcomings mentally, emotionally, but, if they do happen to tell that woman, I honestly feel it's that woman's responsibility. You know,
Mm,
God was not going to put you in any situation that you was
you
not supposed to be there and that you cannot find a way out of it. So
know,
I think that it's that woman's responsibility to seek help for that guy who put that on him, on her.
okay. All right, yeah, that's what my mom always told me. She was like, God will never put you in a situation that you can't handle. I
Right.
love that. So, what was or when was the first time that you noticed that you might have depression or you were struggling with it?
Well, I don't know if I ever have or not. I don't know if I ever have or not. Um, I don't know if I ever have or not. I mean, the only time I could honestly say I may have experienced some of it, was when I was going through a divorce.
Mm,
What I did when going through it right away. I mean, I started running, man. I mean, I started, once I found out that extreme cardio kills the negative enzymes that's associated with stress. That's when I started just doing extensive cardio. So that's when I ran my first marathon. And since then I ran the Boston Marathon. New York Marathon, Berlin, Germany Marathon, Chicago Marathon, and I mean, just keep myself busy, But
okay.
I can honestly say, I mean, I don't know if I've actually, experienced depression, but I don't know. Maybe I have. I mean, I have had times, where I'm like, laid in the bed when I know I should have been getting out of the bed and,
Hmm.
taking care of some things, but I'm that guy I would definitely seek some help if
Okay.
I'm through. That is something I would definitely do. Seek. There's a lot of help out here that's geared towards individuals that's dealing with um, psychological issues, emotional issues, mental issues.
Okay. So have have you known someone who was struggling with depression? And if you have, like, how did you support them?
Oh yeah, I mean quite a few. I met quite a few people that's been suffering from depression, and thank God. I mean, I have close friends, that's mental health therapists that I've directed them to, and I would like to think that they've definitely gotten the help that they needed. But if I didn't have the accessibility to the psychotherapists that I do, I mean, I would, direct them to their hospital, their doctor. Nowadays, doctors, whenever you go to any doctor's office, the questionnaire, the short questionnaire addresses that. Have you thought about taking your own life? Have you had, thoughts of this or that? So I mean, they go through it. So I would definitely direct them, to their doctor, and I would do whatever I could, to talk to them first, and then at that time, after I exhausted all that I could think to say to them, I would definitely direct them to their doctor.
Okay. So, how would you how would you how would you tell another man, or how would you tell them to be more vulnerable, or how can they practice being more vulnerable with their feelings and opening up to everyone and tell them, hey, I am struggling right now with my mental health?
There's no other way to do it. There's no easy way to do it. I mean, say, you know, this is your life, man. You only have one shot at this. Every single day to go by is just one more day of a missed opportunity of you
Mm,
being on your way to a happier, more fulfilled, more peaceful life. So I mean, I just share some of my experiences with them. With hopes that they want to be more at peace. Because I always say peace is more important than happiness to me. I mean, happiness
mm,
is ebb and flow. Happiness could be situational. Happiness, could be external. Peace runs deep, so to have true peace, I mean that's gonna stand the time, no matter what you're going through, if you got true peace inside, and once you share, sharing that with individuals, you know, sometimes individuals might be like, dude, that's what I want, man. Like, dude, I'm just always, up and down, man. I mean, how do I get that? And only thing I can do is tell individuals, what I do. Read, positive affirmations. Read, listen to, if you're not a good reader, listen to motivational books, self-help books. That's probably one of the best things, man. Read motivational books, self-help books, and things of that nature. Just continuously, every chance you get, put that in your mental, in your spirit. Books that only speak to, positive energy. If you just keep feeding yourself positive vibes, man. Instead of listening to music every time you get, or every time you get your headphones on, listen to some. You can Google some stuff, man. Motivational speeches and things of that nature.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Keep the positive vibes going. Just
Yeah.
yeah, I feel you. So as you talk, uh, we back. Yeah, we're good. As you were talking about peace, what are some ways that, or some things that you may avoid, or you tell other people to avoid to keep their peace?
Being around negative energy people, when you see somebody, just coming to you, talking to you about some negativity, hey, bro, hey, sis, I hear you, man. Please don't take no offense to this, man. I'm really trying to,
Mm,
keep it, I'm really trying to, or if you don't want to say that to them, just walk away, or, just, fake like your phone rung. I mean, like you're on the phone, walk away. I mean, do whatever you got to do to, separate yourself from that particular person, or, and also, negative energy songs, and things of that nature that you allow yourself to listen to. Um, Try to get enough, as much sleep as you can. Rest, helps. Water, drink a lot of water. Exercise. But you want to, just be around positive energy as much as possible.
wow. Yeah, I see that. I feel that. So, and this is another question about if you were depressed or in the dumps, but what would you tell your personal self when you were going through that hard time? What would you tell them now after being out of it?
Mm, what would I tell that person that was in that dark place now? I mean, thank God I'm at peace. Thank God I listened to, the positive affirmations. Um, or I would tell that, that negative, or that dark place, me, talk to, Bishop, Daniels, talk to, which is my pastor, or talk to, my brothers, or, I would definitely want to not be in that dark place by myself.
Hmm.
I can do is be in a dark place by themselves.
Hmm. So, as you were talking about when you were in that dark place, things that helped you were cardio, reading books, listening to positive things. What were some of the books you were reading? Because I like to read also. So, like, what were some of the books that you decided to read?
Man, my memory is escaping me because, like I told you, man, when I tell you, I have, I have, I've never been in a super dark
Hmm.
place, before. But the books that I read is all books on helping me become a better public speaker, helping me with information that can help along with my other business venture I'm looking at doing, which is G's Masterclass, which is selling the model of GeeClippers, helping other individuals become successful barbershop beauty salon owner. So, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, probably
Ooh.
best books written um, for an individual that is not good with cold conversations, and how to lead people. John Maxwell, great author. Almost anything by John Maxwell is great reads. Definitely self motivation, self help books. I mean, John Maxwell is a beast. So you can't go wrong with those two.
Okay. Okay. And we have a question about real men real talk again. So back to that subject. As you say, it's been going on for a little minute, or you guys have the idea. How have you seen the improvement in the people that have been attending these discussions?
You said how?
How
Wait,
have you seen the improvement? Have you seen the improvement in
oh,
the individuals that?
I mean, you see the improvement just, I mean, almost in the same session. In the same 2 hours, you almost see the improvement. I mean,
Mm,
my guy is just talking with, so much now when it took him, a while to open up. And now here he is still there half an hour, 45 minutes after the event is over with. You see that he really had a breakthrough. That has happened on quite a few occasions, where a guy really was like, man, I'm so glad I came here, man. I'm just so glad I came. And then we pretty much always have a psychotherapist right there, at each one of the Real Men Real Talks. So, we'll direct that person to talk to that therapist, or other, resources.
okay. So now, what would you say? It's about a couple little more questions. What would you say to somebody watching this live right now that may be going through that dark place in their life? What would you say to them?
I mean, exactly what I said before, man. If you are going through something and you feel that you are not yourself, you feel that you have been having thoughts that are just not healthy, please think of just a few things. Think of that person that you know for sure you can trust.
Mm,
Just open up to them. Say, listen, I got to share something with you. I've not been totally honest with you. This is some of the things that I've been thinking about. Some of the things that I've been, struggling with. Talk to that person. Two, um, uh, your spiritual advisor, whether it be your pastor, bishop, the chaplain at the school you're at. Talk to that person, but do not by any means try to just deal with it yourself. Try to work through it on your own. It's tough. Seek help.
wow. Well, I will say this that it's been a pleasure talking to you. A pleasure, G. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Where can other people that are watching this live, where they can find you on social media or in Milwaukee? Where can they find you?
Well, on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, is GeeClippers.
Mm-hmm.
GeeClippers. Clippers. And Twitter as well, although I hardly ever tweet. Um, if you're in Milwaukee, you can find me at 2200 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive.
Okay, great. Anything else you would like to add?
Man, no, just I pray that someone was said tonight, man, and uplift, someone. This was great, man. Thanks a lot for having me. It was a great conversation, in my opinion, and good luck to you, man. With your schooling. So you're in what year now?
I'm a senior. I graduate in December. Yeah.
Really? That's what's
Yeah.
up, man. Congratulations to you. So what's the
Thanks.
plan? What's the plan? Go and tell the people, man. What's the plan?
Okay, the plan is
Situation.
as soon as we walk across this stage, we gotta get this bag, chase this money, and get up out of here. That's it.
Keep your head up, man. Bro, man, I'm proud of you, man. You keep doing, the good work, positive work. There's so many individuals, man, that was blessed, you know, by this, I'm sure. And blessed by your energy, man. You know, you I'm sure you're a lot like me. People say you smile a lot. You know,
Yeah.
on this call. So listen, bro, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me. All right.
All right. You have a great night.
Thank you.
All
You too.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.